Hi, this is John Carpenter, and you're listening to the iWalter Show.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Yeah, it actually is me, and that was John Carpenter. I actually went to a concert tonight down in Keswick. Well, no, not in Keswick. There is no such thing as, in Keswick. No, it was in the Keswick Theater? How do you say that word correctly? Yeah, actually, I did a meet and greet with him, and I'm a little bit upset because, one, you bring your own camera, you get photos, and there was this girl who had taken photos, and it was horrible. I mean, I paid, a decent amount of money. I think it was like $250 for the freaking ticket. You expect a decent photo. I have friends who have taken photos of me in the past. My one friend, Matt, and my other friend, Todd, and both those guys really get good pictures of me. This girl had no freaking clue what she was doing. The one picture was all blurry, and the other one was just horrendous. So I'm not very happy, especially that money. I already plugged it on the plug that John Carpenter gave me for my show. So I'm kind of, going to use it as it's, just to say, hey, I met John Carpenter, the man, before anything, heaven forbid, would happen to him. Speaking about, not wishing Will ill on anybody, I didn't realize this. A friend, Matt, from work actually posted it as a private message to me. I didn't know that, but I should have pulled it up, but, rest in peace. I hate to see, it was bound to happen. The man was 93, not John Carpenter. Was actually Stan Lee passed away the other day. I don't know exactly when, but yeah, he passed away, and it was like, whoa, where was I when this news happened? So, it was actually very, I like those movies and stuff. I asked some guy tonight, I think Stan Lee might have gotten his start, or, not, he's done comic books forever, but who was the person who actually introduced Stan Lee, who was a big fan of him, growing up reading comic books, was Kevin Smith. So I was talking to this one guy tonight who was at, he's a horror buff like I am, at this John Carpenter get-together. John Carpenter actually does make, I didn't realize it, he makes all his own music for all his movies. I did not know that. So I'm gonna put in Stan Lee right now, because that was just actually that was a real shock. That was a fist in the stomach kind of blow. Born December 28th, 1922, age 93, Manhattan, spouse. I wonder now, did he pass away? Because it's not showing a death. Maybe it's just too recent. I mean, hey, if he's still alive, I'll actually be more happy. But, it's his spouse, age 93. Manhattan, New York. So he lives in, because a lot of the characters were based out of New York. Maybe it was a hoax thing. Now I'm kind of curious. Because that one really kind of frightened me. It had me going. Okay, somebody actually asked, is Stan Lee dead or alive? I don't know. I hope he's still alive. Honestly, I'm not even just joking about that. Yeah, he's got a lot of people wonder now. Okay, because I would think Kevin Smith would have said something or, posted something. Okay, Stan Lee was born December 28th, 1922, and, wow, I kind of should have figured that. He's Jewish. He's still alive today at the age of 92, but this was like an older thing then, I guess. I don't know. I mean, God, because I just told this guy, I said, yes, Stan Lee passed away. He had me going. If that is the biggest one, and that's not like, that's actually not funny at all because I think he looks great. But something I read, a news source said he's passed away, and in the article they said that his hair, he's too ashamed to admit to it, but the top of his head with the dark hair, like his hair's all white except the top of his head, he does dye that part. Because for years he had that kind of like hairstyle where the top was dark and the sides were white. I mean, that's just Stan Lee, and you know Stan Lee by that, and then obviously by the mustache. But it was in there mentioning that he won't accept that he's got all white hair, so he dyes at least the top of it. So I apologize if I'm wrong, but that just really, when I read this article, a friend sent it to me. It said Stanley passed away quietly at his home. It's in California, though. So, yeah, Los Angeles. So, unless they're keeping it hush-hush not to get people all worked up, because believe it or not, Stan Lee would definitely cause people to emotionally have some type of riot, I would think, because he is a big well known now. But all I was just mentioning, though, was that I would think, it was Mallrats that before that, Stan Lee never made any appearances in any of the, comic books that he made over the years that became obviously superhero movies and TV shows. But I think after Mallrats, that really did kind of change. Hey, having Stan Lee do a cameo in something, it was like it probably gave him sparked an idea. Okay, if we're making all these movies, we might as well just do what Kevin Smith did. That was just my guess. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying. So, but I did see, like I said, and I'm going to use that now. Kind of mix it in with the other ones. It's hey, I did try to get another celebrity at one point. It did not work. Apologize. I didn't realize I still had my speaker on for my because I got two computers running. Speaking about computers, by the way, I was really devastated. But I have like an Apple laptop that I use for work. I call it my junk Apple laptop, but that one actually sometimes I'm not sure. I don't feel comfortable as having that as my main computer as a backup. Because sometimes I have a problem with, the PC computers for some reason on, what do you call it, doing podcasts. If I'm going to get a big celebrity or somebody who's partially known, I want to make sure I have a backup. So I got to make sure it's 100% sure, because the worst thing you want to do is say, hey, listen, give me a couple minutes here. I'll tell you, the people I even met in the comic book store at that time from Comic Book Man, they don't want to hear that. If you're going to do something, you better have it ready. And if you're not ready, then you're screwed. So that kept in my mind. It's like, okay, I don't want this to happen. It happened to me one time, and I can't have it happen again. Because it's very difficult to get people that are partially known, probably even bigger celebrities, definitely. They're not going to want to have their time wasted. So, the Apple laptop I have, which is an older one, it's the last of the plastic models, I really don't feel quite safe with that one. I have it still, but I'm going to get rid of it tomorrow. I'm just going to basically get it recycled. Is an Apple Mac Pro. Well, here's what happened, folks. The battery exploded. It didn't explode. It inflated like airbags under the case, and it expanded like partially. It didn't do, thank goodness, it didn't do a lot of damage to the case. And I figured, okay, I'm out of a computer, which I'm actually back at that point. I am out of a computer, like that, my backup one. So I have two, limited edition Star Wars laptops, but, that's having two of them is not much of a backup if both of them kind of react the same way once in a while with interference or something. For some reason, just the way the housing is on these Star Wars laptops, they don't have very good housing around. It's basically all plastic. So my Mac Pro is actually insulated better, just a better design all the way around, and it works really well. So, for certain things that you do professionally, minus that doing a stupid podcast, when I do one, it's not a big deal for the most part when I do it in my house. But when I go out, I got to make sure I have something that's going to work every single time. I can't just, hope like, oh, this is pot luck. It's going to work tonight. Oh, okay, it didn't work. Okay, I'm out of luck. So I can't have that happen. But anyway, the laptop, I set up an appointment. I called Apple on the West Coast because I'm on the East Coast. I said, hey, listen, this computer I think is pretty much screwed. I'm not, can I basically do a trade-in on it? Because, I want to get it recycled, and you promise on recycled, you recycle everything, that you give me even like $100, $200. It's not what I paid for it. I paid like over $1,000. But I'll take it. It'll be down payment on a new one, another Apple Mac Pro, because I want that as a backup. So I've been looking for almost a week now since this happened. It happened last weekend. And my brother over visiting the house, I was like, yeah, you should see this. I even have this Apple Mac Pro. I use it as a backup in case I have any problems. I can't use it as a backup because the thing looked pretty hideous at first. I mean, it was definitely an explosion going on there of some sort that did not make me happy. Like, the keypad was lifted up in the back. My dad said one of the screws, he couldn't find it. When he removed the screws from the bottom of the case, because it's screwed in all the guts of the Mac Pro, one just like flew across the room. He said, I don't even know what happened to it. He said it flew out. I'm sorry, I can't find it. It was like, yeah, that's cool. Hey, at least you're taking the battery out. You don't want to leave it in there until I could get it checked out the next day. I go to the Apple store, had them check it out, and they said, well, and I didn't think about this at the present time. I didn't think about it when I had this, like, oh, my God, I lost my backup computer now, the one I really depend on. I lost it. So that's what was in the back of my mind. I didn't think about it. I was like, well, I should at least plug it in because at least even without a battery, you can run the Mac Pro, but it seems that it always resets the time, though. Like, you have to get on a network to reset your time. Not a big deal. I'll still use that computer. Well, it was like, I don't care. I'll use it like that. But then I looked for a battery, and I found one that was like $50, made for my computer, got high ratings from this place. It was like battery1.com, I believe. And I ordered it. I got it really fast, too. So I got to straighten that out on Monday. So I, basically, I said, I got this battery from Battery One. And, because they told me, oh, we don't make batteries for your old laptop anymore. It's considered obsolete now from Apple. That's fine. It's like, well, couldn't you just do a diagnostic test? They wouldn't even bother to do one. It's like, hey, all they did was tell me that there's no. I plugged it in. I lost my train of thought, so I apologize. Let me just cut to the chase. The computer seemed to work. Everything, I plugged it in at the store. I was like, crap, I forgot. I should have just plugged it in. See if it works without a battery. It worked great. It was like, yeah, this computer looks like there's nothing wrong with it. It looks like there's nothing wrong with it. Like, okay, so I figured I'll just order another battery because, if I'm out on the road and stuff like that and I can't plug it in right away and I want to do a podcast, at least maybe I can just kind of, do it off of a battery. And it was like, this is cool, but the battery didn't work. It was like, but the battery was brand new. I got it from, again, this place called, I believe, battery1.com. It's out in California. The battery came, my dad put it in. It was like, it's not working. So it was like, maybe my dad didn't put it in right. He didn't plug it in right to the back. It was like, so I took this machine apart, checked it. He had the connectors in right. Everything was perfect. So, but it still would not power up off the battery. And it was like, Apple, the desktop was saying, listen, your battery's here, but it's bad. It's not taking a charge. So it was like, okay, maybe it is a bad battery. I don't know. Either way, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just run it without the battery. I'll just keep it. Fuck it. I'll just send the battery back, tell them you sent me a bad battery, and that'll be the end of the story. I just got to be really careful because once the power cord comes out, I'm screwed. I could lose everything. I mean, there's nothing to back it up. It's not being saved. But, I mean, normally, technically, if you do backups as you do a show, you will always be able to kind of salvage stuff, as long as you save it off the hard drive. So I figured, okay, that would be just it'd be like a glorified desktop, a very small one. because I think it was a 15-inch Apple laptop. Yeah, so a very small one, but I'll deal with it. No big deal. I'll just have to. I have no choice. So I checked it the other day, and it was like, after I took it apart and took the battery out, and guess what happened, folks? I looked at my files inside the computer. It was a perfectly good hard drive. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm not going to screw with this laptop any longer. It's just going to cost me more and more and more money. It's now getting way too costly. So, $50 wasn't too bad. Even a hard drive wouldn't be bad, but I'm afraid I'm just going to be plunking money in, and eventually it's just going to be like these returns aren't going to happen. So I looked at the hard drive, though. Everything was there on the desktop, apparently, but then I dug into the files. You go under, your computer, so to speak, on the Apple version, and then you go into your files. The files were all there, but guess what? I opened up the files, because they're folders. It's set up more like a Linux atmosphere underneath the hood. It's not that complicated, a Linux GUI on your Apple laptop. Once you learn it, it's actually a lot easier than the way Windows does things. And it actually makes things a lot more organized because it puts everything in folders and it kind of stashes them away under your account. Doesn't put them all over the desktop. Now, it's just laziness. You get used to having everything on your desktop, but it's not really that efficient. I mean, I think I like it better the way I'm very much more used to the way Apple does stuff. I actually prefer it. I'll do both OSs. I can use either one very comfortably. But I've actually gotten more used to an Apple desktop for everyday use now and as a backup. So anyway, I opened up my file folders, and I had pictures like from I did a meet and greet about 2 years ago or whatever with Pat Benatar. So guess what? All those pictures were on my Apple MacBook Pro. I opened up the folder. There was nothing there. It's like it was completely empty. So I opened up a couple other folders. Pictures I had taken over the years and stuff. I just take the Mac Pro on trips with me. All of the folders were completely empty. They were there, but they were empty. It's like, okay, this is like more than just a single red flag. This is a lot of red flags. And it really started to bother me. So I figured at this point, this is it. I just paid off all my bills. I paid off my car like I wanted to. Haven't got the title yet, but I paid off my car, did all my wishful spending, paid off all the bills for all my wishful spending, which is going to accumulate again after tonight with John Carpenter because I bought a bunch of merchandise. I think I bought like 4 T-shirts, or at least 3 T-shirts, and then one was given to me because I got a meet and greet VIP package, which included a T-shirt. So, but I wanted to make sure I got as much John Carpenter stuff because it's not like every day I'm going to see the man. So he did do a plug for my show. I got all this merchandise. I'll mention it in a minute. But going back to my computer, I looked around. I was like, okay, I was actually on the brinks of buying a brand new laptop from Apple, and it was like, until I read this one review from one guy, actually, he stood out, and I've seen some other people kind of thinking the way I do. The newer Apple laptops are great because they're paper thin, but they're going to cost you more money to do anything on them. But here's the real clincher, though. Somebody actually did kind of woke me up to this fact. They said that they've had the older Apple laptops much longer. They're not even interested in new Apple devices, the new Apple laptops, or even I would assume probably the desktops. They said, hey, I've had an old Apple laptop for the past 5 years, have had not one problem with it. I'm actually running a 2010, I think. Let me see. I think it's a 2010, my desktop. Let me see, because this is right in front of me. This is not that difficult. Yeah, it's a Mac Pro mid-2010 computer, and the thing about it, I can upgrade this. There is limitations, but they're very minimal as opposed to the new stuff. You can't upgrade anything. So somebody actually wrote, they said, I don't want to touch the new Apple laptops. I've had one, this person said, for 5 years, never had a problem. Why do I want to buy new stuff? Quote, unquote, because they said in this article, they said you can't upgrade anything. They said the memory on these newer laptops, some of them actually you can't upgrade the memory, or definitely you can't upgrade the hard drive because everything is soldered to the motherboard inside under the case. Now, I don't know if that's true about the memory, but yeah, the hard drive is not a hard drive anymore. It's solid state. So this one guy, I went to different places like Best Buy, Micro Center, online, in the stores, a couple other places, I think, maybe mostly window shopping online. And yeah, it was like I was actually on 4th of July, I was actually going to buy one with a hard drive in there because the guy at the Best Buy store at least said, hey, listen, they're going to do away with hard drives. Apple sees a future where everybody's going to be using USB 3.1, which is not USB standard at all. It's a completely different format because basically what it is, it's a connector that actually will feed basically, I guess, 4K through it. High definition, definitely. Audio, video, and it's extremely fast. It's called 3.0. It looks similar to 3.0, but it really is not. It is in the same umbrella, the same family, because it is called USB, but it's called USB 3.1, which is nothing compared to USB 3.0. There is a big difference. They're completely different animals. So that point 1 is more than just a point release on this device cable. So, but Apple now replaced all their connectors with one, which is the USB 3.1. So, yeah, you have to get a splicer to use anything else. That was a little bit of an issue there. It's nice that the hard drives are solid state. And I am not convinced that solid state is that much faster or that much more dependable. Because I was thinking about it. It was like another turnoff for me is I got solid state products. I got an Apple iPad and an Apple iPhone. I even had the Apple Watch at one point. Those are all solid state. They basically run off of, flash drive. And trust me, they are not that much faster, and they lock up constantly. And actually, I read some articles of people that got ones with flash drives, SSD drives, in these Apple new laptops. So there was a couple of people that actually complained and said they locked up and they lost stuff. So you're kind of like in a stalemate either way. It might be slightly more dependable, but not by that much. Not enough to spend the money. It has dropped in price. You can now buy a 1 terabyte SSD drive for about like a couple $100, which it used to be over $1,000. So it's not that bad, but I don't think it's perfected enough yet for me to say, hey, I need to do this. Now, there's files I'd like to save. I don't want to lose ever, especially pictures of celebrities and stuff. But you know what? Every once in a while, even big companies, they back everything up still on conventional hard drives, and they basically do what I mentioned in another show, where they do what's called a RAID, but they do what's called there's different level RAIDs, there's different types of RAIDs. Mirroring, where they basically mirror every drive that's in a system and a server. If one drive dies, you pull it out, and you basically put another drive in, and it rebuilds itself. So you never lose anything that way. You have to do that. So, but I've thought about it. It was like, wait a minute. I got an what do you call it? A PlayStation 4, which the 4.5 is coming out like this winter, this fall, which I can't wait to see. I'm actually very anxious on it because it's going to actually be 4K compatible, and I have a 4K set. So I'm going to be interested and see if I can trade it in like I did last time when it cost me nothing with the GameStop, because I have a GameStop warranty. They're basically drain out your warranty. Like, say if you want to trade it in, they'll give you full cover cost of what it costs to trade it in. Like, they're giving me like $300-400 for it, and then trade it in, and it basically break out even if I do that on this new one. So, but anyway, that's a different story. But that's got a hard drive. I put in there a 1 terabyte hard drive, and I think it's just it's a regular hard drive. I told somebody I put in the hybrid drive. No, I put a conventional hard drive. The thing runs flawlessly. I've never had a freaking problem with it. My Apple laptops I gave my dad everything. They all run laptop hard drives because it's the Apple Mac Minis. They never had a problem with them. My computer right now, I did have an issue for a while there. I lost a couple hard drives, but I'm still running 3 hard drives, and they're all 4 terabytes. all three of them are 4 terabytes. Never really had any issues lately with them. Most of the time, they last about 10 years. I mean, that's a good long time. You just got to learn before then just to back things up. And I do. When the drive gets near its time of retiring, you just got to make sure you mirror that drive off, back up any files, and put a new one in. It's a bit of a pain, but you're not going to tell me. Don't tell me you're not going to have any problems with solid state drives. And the speed performance that everybody brags about is not as impressive, in my opinion, as what they say. Because you're literally talking like almost 5 or 10% if you're lucky, as far as a performance boost. And it's not even worth the cash you have to fork out for it. Or just, you're going to lose things either way. At least a hard drive, there's ways to recover stuff off a dead hard drive if you really want to. It'll cost you some money, but you can do it. I don't know how solid-state drives work, and I don't think you can really, once it's dead or gets damaged, you're screwed. I'm trying to think what else has, like, actual physical spinning drives in there. And you know what? I actually mentioned it. I do have. That's basically a glorified flash drive too. Is that Apple TV? That thing is not fast at all. And I got the brand new one. I got the grandiose one. I think it was the highest you could get on that was 64 gigs because I got the more expensive one. Even got extended warranty Apple, and it's not that impressive. It's not that fast. I mean, I'll watch movies on there. It's nice, but it's not as high caliber, having a solid state drive. It's not as convincing to me that that's the route I want to go. So that everything being said, and you're talking starting price is around $1,000 if you want to get a 128 gig solid state drive for an Apple laptop. It goes up to about $2,000. Now, all of them have Retina display. That's really nice. There is a seldom difference you can see on Retina display and without it. But here's the thing. You're going to be forking out more. Now, you are talking much high resolution. Even on a small 13 or 12-inch screen on an Apple laptop, your resolution is as high as it is on your television set, probably. It's like at 2568 or something like that. It's like something ridiculously off the charts. It's basically borderline 4K on a small monitor screen. So that's really cool. But you know what? My backup laptop's not going to be doing any movies. It's not going to do any TV shows. It's not going to do anything impressive. It's going to be very impressive. All it's going to be doing is doing audio stuff. Now, here's a funny thing. Going back real quick to John Carpenter, I looked at what these guys did because John Carpenter, all his music, which he does make himself, is done on synthesizers and electronics. There was a live, a bass and a guitar in there too, and a drum set. That guys that were two of them. The guys on the guitar and the bass, I believe it was, were his sons, John Carpenter's sons. But there was a guy on a keyboard, synthesized keyboard. John Carpenter had his own, and then he did have a real drummer there, too, in the background. But then there's that one part, I don't know what they call that, the guy that basically is not part of the band, but there's a guy who sits back and, I guess, controls the lights and everything else, in with the audience, that layout there. That particular person actually was running everything off an old, like my old one I do have, old Apple laptop, the hard shell white one, which was pretty impressive. It actually really convinced me, like, wow, these things, people in the business will use Apple. They will not use PCs. I use it because the software I use is actually geared towards more. Audacity's geared probably more friendly towards PC products as opposed to Apple. But you know what? As a backup, if I have any difficult times or any issues, I'd want to be able to have my product supported on, my Apple device, a Apple device, I should say. So that's why I wanted something that's like a Mac Pro. The MacBooks now aren't really designed for anything besides web browsing and other stuff. They're not very powerful. That's problem number one. Everything is soldered onto the motherboard, and they do have issues they're not actually really coming forth with. So anyway, I looked around, and I actually, when I was in that, the guy talked himself out of a sale, and he actually did me a favor. In the Best Buy store, they had an advertised special. It wasn't actually a sale on an older laptop, and the guy says, well, they're going to be obsolete. Apple's doing away with hard drives, physical hard drives, blah, blah, blah. But the system was like, I think, $1,100. It had a 500 gig hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM, which is not that much. I would like to max it out. I know now how to take these machines apart myself. I'll change it. I might even change out the hard drive. But it had a 500 gig hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM. 4 gigs is not enough. Even for Apple. Apple will suffice on having 4 gigs, but you can max it out on these machines at 16, which is what I actually have in my one Apple, my PC laptop. And 16 gigs of RAM of DDR3 is not that expensive. You can pick it up for like $50. So it's not like you're going to put yourself in maybe $100, but I want to say more like 50. If you get even at Micro Center, you pick it up for like $50, like 16 gigs of RAM. It's not that expensive. I'm talking Apple. What do you call it? Basically, laptop. What do you call it? Memory, RAM. So it's not that expensive. It's worth it because it's definitely going to take advantage of it. You want that in there. I have it in my system now for at least my PC. And 16 gigs is actually very comfortable. Both OSs, I think Apple will do probably a better job. Don't get me wrong, Windows 10 has come a long way. The new Windows 10, which I've been running on these machines because they came with it, is not that bad. It's just that it does have a little bit of issues. And I need that backup of dependability because I'm not going to like say, hey, to some big celebrity who I'm giving no money to, can you do a plug for my show? Can you do an interview with me? Yeah, that's not going to be like that's not going to go over very highly with them. So I got to make sure my stuff is working when I need it and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, my Apple Mac Pro, the 15-inch, I think I'm just going to go over to Best Buy and drop it off. Say, listen, this is going to be a donation. I don't want to deal with this anymore. It's yours. So I probably should take out actually, I don't have much memory in there. I was going to say I could probably take out the memory. But the only thing I actually changed in that machine was, because it would work I actually did find another one. But I don't think it's that much. I could probably take it apart. I don't know. It's probably not worth it again because I'd rather get a matched pair of memory at 16 gigs, which that doesn't have. So again, I'm probably just going to give it as a donation to get it recycled properly. I did try to look for if it's worth anything. Unfortunately, that particular machine that I now has caused major problems, my MacBook Pro, which I do take on vacations. I've been doing it for years. I just slowly started using the Star Wars laptop, but I do like my other one, my MacBook Pro. But now that it's, having issues, I'm just going to kind of put it to rest. But that, again, Best Buy will take it. Unfortunately, I won't get any money for it, so that's not too cool. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm, very disappointed, but I did look around. Again, it was $1,100. The cheapest I found it was, at first, was Micro Center, which they charge you tax. They had one that was refurbished, and actually, honestly, I bought a lot of refurbished stuff from Micro Center. Never had an issue with anything I bought from Micro Center. Their warranties are excellent. And the Mac Pro I was going to get from them was the same one I was going to get at Best Buy, but it was $1,100 at Best Buy. The refurbished one from Micro Center, they do their own refurbishing of their MacBook Pro. So I'm going to see if there's any one like the one I was going to get. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, so I finally got to the I was really tempted to buy it. And I don't even see it anymore. Yeah, I don't see. They must have sold it now because I put it back. I took it out of my bin, and it was I think it was $800. I was like, well, that's a lot better. That's $400 cheaper than the one I was going to get. So, yeah, I was so close to buying it, and then it was like, okay, I did one more check. I did like another check on Apple MacBooks and stuff like that. And I don't know why it's not coming up. I'm going to look again. Sorry about that. Boy, I don't know why I do this stuff. I'm typing in the Apple laptop because sometimes that's the way you get it to come up. Yeah, they came up. Yeah, there's one that, I mean, honestly, you're going to get a good deal. You're going to pay more money, but Micro Center does offer warranties even on old equipment. Yeah, here it is. The one I was going to get was an Apple MacBook Pro MC700L /A 13.3 inches. It's smaller than what I have. Same computer, $800. So, yeah, it was so. It has an i5, dual core i5 with hyper-threading turned on. Actually, I'm sorry. Here's the one I think I was going to get. This other one's $800. This one only has a 320 gig drive for $800. But there's one for $749. This, you know what? I'm not even sure which one it was at this point because there's all these different ones. Maybe it was this one, MD313LL/A. Maybe that was the one because that one's $679. I know after taxes and everything, it was like around $700, $800. So it was like, okay, I know it was actually closer to $800 with tax and all. So it was like, okay, yeah, but this I can upgrade the memory. It's not that much of an issue. Just screw off the bottom, take the screws out, and put 16 gigs of RAM from the 4 that's in there to make a big difference. And it won't cost that much. It'll be like $50. But then I was doing a look, and for some reason there was some place that I saw an advertisement for it too. Let me see if I can find it now. Because I did a Google search actually, and Google I was looking for an Apple MacBook Pro because I do want that as a backup. I really, really do. I don't think I'm just really paranoid that I'll go and I'll get some big celebrity who will say, hey, can I do an interview with you? And they'll say, yeah, you know what? Sure, I'll do one with you. And then I'm going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't get it on my equipment working right. Because that happened to me. That really did. I told people about that a million times. That was around my birthday this year. And I did Mark Costello, I did an interview, comic book man. The guy now has passed away, and he wasn't even that old. So now I'm like, I'm not even kidding. I'm like petrified. It's like, okay, I got to make sure this does not happen again. The man literally freaking died, and it was like, this is not cool. I can't go back and say, hey, I want to do an interview with you because he's not around to ask that any longer. And I mean, that is, honestly, I'm not even trying to make a joke out of it. It's a shame. So anyway, I'm looking for it now. For some reason, I can't find it. But I went to this place. It starts with an R, Rukui or something. I don't even know how. I'm literally just guessing at this point. But this place, they recommend that on Google search. They said, yeah, they sell laptops. They have the best price. And then it was like, well, it was $600 for the same laptop that Best Buy once again was going to charge me. Here it is. It's spelled Rakuten, Rakuten or something. I don't even know how you say it. Get this, folks. But I read the reviews. I go by people's reviews, and the reviews were excellent. It was like, okay, but get this. The same laptop I was looking for, they actually had it, and it's a newer model, I think. I looked it up. I'll put it in again. I think it's a 2012, which is not bad. Because that's when they actually did stop making, 2012, 2013, they stopped making hard drives in any Mac device. Let me see what the number comes up. It says the number on this one, though, the one I just put in, is an MD101LL-/A. And just put in specs, which I just did. And then I like doing it because you put in specs. It takes you to a place called everymac.com, and that's the best place to do research on what a laptop you will potentially end up buying. This particular one came out mid-2012, which is not that bad because the one at Best Buy is the exact same one. They stopped making hard drives that year. After that, everything is solid state. It was in 2013 that they started making everything solid state. So it's really difficult to get them. People like myself will prefer the hard drives because one thing, as this one person put in their review, that at least with these, you can actually replace parts like your hard drive, your memory, your RAM. You can't in the other ones. But again, it's a 2012 model. And you can get those, but I'm looking at it again. It says Apple MacBook Pros. It takes you to that place that says refurbished with free shipping and no tax. I don't believe they charge me tax, so that saved me some money there. Actually, I should take that back of what I just said because if it really, let me look at my invoice again because they didn't charge you tax. You got to claim it at the end of the year. Yeah, $5.99 shipping and handle was free. Tax is $0. So I might have to put that on my what do you call it? Because if you don't pay tax now, you have to pay tax, and your thanks to Obama, you got to pay tax at the end of the year on your W-2 form. You got to say like I didn't pay tax on something for $6. But anyway, it was $600. So $600 straight, no tax and nothing else. So then I looked at reviews from this place that is some, or however you pronounce it, and it was excellent from the people who bought them. Satisfaction overall was out of 5 reviews, 5 out of 5, 5 reviews. Only one, well, no, I'm sorry, not 5, 36 reviews bought it off of this web link for this place. So I'm not really familiar because they get other vendors like send stuff, so it's almost like an eBay or an Amazon thing. I don't know. This place, again, it's spelled RAKUTEN.com. So, yeah, I looked at it. It was like, okay, these reviews were like phenomenal. I was like, wow, you got me convinced. But for this particular laptop I was looking at, I liked the size that it was a little smaller because it is more easy to carry. It's a little more heavier, but it's a little because it's the last one, and they started making them thinner every year too. Now they just make them ridiculously thin. So anyway, 36 people bought these and gave it a 5-star out of 5-star review. One person gave it 4 stars out of 5 stars. So they were all excellent. And looking at when they bought this exact same laptop, so obviously, people were very impressed with these, quote unquote, and they call it reconditioned laptops. So hopefully I don't get something for that price if it's half the price of what they're charging in the store. I'm just praying that it's not all mangled up and damaged because then I'll be really upset. Anyway, it says the laptop was well packaged and arrived very quickly. Startup and configurations was flawless. This is what somebody wrote, and they titled it "Great Laptop." The one I bought from this link. Really good buy. Was this review helpful? Yeah, it was. Somebody else wrote, nice. This is a great laptop. It's not too expensive and runs really well. The install was straightforward and it came with Windows already, which they meant not Windows, they meant OS 10, already preloaded, which is nice. I still have to install my applications, but it's no big deal. The shipment was fast, too, so no complaints. So there you go. And product overview from CNET gave it an excellent review from CNET. And it gave it 4 out of 5 stars from CNET. So overall, but you can read, besides the 2 that were showing, there's other ones too. Specifications, product overview, customer reviews. They show 2, but you can probably pull, I know there's a way you can pull up the other ones. I'm not going to do it right now. So overall, hey, it's pretty cool. Oh, here they are. So, yeah, I looked at this, and when I saw, like, hey, these people, product, customer reviews, when I saw these, it was like, okay, you got me sold. For $600, you know, I'm going to get myself into more debt, but not as bad as I thought I would. Somebody actually wrote with an explanation point, and this was some of these were actually dated newer. These are actually a little older. Great laptop, the best. The great laptop says the MacBook Pro is great. It is a great laptop and is very easy to use. The main drawbacks are it's expensive. Well, this one wasn't. Great product. Works as expected. Very reputable seller. I buy a lot from this seller, this particular seller who's selling these laptops and never had any problems. All orders come packed very well in time for a good at a good price. So we put love it. Love this Mac from this particular thing. Somebody put excellent and just wrote awesome underneath. So yes, again, these reviews, there's not anything that's negative. So it was like, okay, you got me sold. I'm trying to see if there's anything like probably a little newer. Yeah, even the newer reviews. So far, so good. Apple MacBook Pro, nice laptop, runs great. 2014. Amazing device with more versatility than it knew. They spelled new wrong somehow. I don't know how you can, but they did. I'm trying to go down to like the very last ones. Very last one was actually, now these are the ones I looked at earlier. The two last ones are from 2016, so that was from this year, just like a month or so ago. Somebody wrote, good computer for basic work, good computer for most needs CD drive. It's great for loading music and such. And it just asked if the review was good. Yeah, that's cool. And the one that really, this is the one that got to me, was this year, the most reliable laptop ever. I've used this for 5 years and still it maintains its exceptional performance. Was this review excellent? But they basically updated the review just a few months ago, like 3 months ago. So, hey, that's all I need to know. No. Somebody actually wrote from like a year or two ago. They got from the same company these laptops that they're selling, these Apple laptops, because they've been out, from stopped making them like a couple years ago. They're still around, but I'm just saying. Somebody wrote, great deal on the last upgradable MacBook Pro, meaning this 2012 model. I was set to buy a new MacBook with Retina display when I learned that you essentially can't upgrade the new ones as the RAM, which I don't really think so, but the RAM and SSD are soldered into the motherboard is what they wrote. When the units went on sale, it was good to pass on. The person replaced the hard drive with an SSD and then put the 16 gigs of RAM, equivalent to the Retina would have cost as twice as much. Now, the resolution is not as high, but if you're not looking on a small laptop, it's not going to make that much of a difference. It honestly is not. And you're going to drain the battery quicker with Retina display, I understand. Somebody actually wrote, this is very impressive, from this web link, by the way. Exactly as advertised at a fair price for these laptops. This is, again, from this, like, where they're selling these Apple laptops for $600 now. Brand new, factory sealed, and fully labeled with all information needed to ensure warranty from Apple. A very fair price for on the system in today's market. And Dig Jungle was a quick to follow up on my inquiry and excellent to ensure expedient delivery. So I guess there's different links. They got them. It's like different links. Again, it's like they get different vendors to put this stuff here. But that's the most important thing is this last one. They on these MacBook Pros is they got excellent reviews, and I do go about reviews. I just hope they're correct on what they say, because if they're not, I'll be disappointed. Because right now, the reviews on these laptops were good. And again, like I mentioned, somebody just bought one just a couple months ago, so I'm assuming it's the same vendor I'll be going with. and they didn't have any complaints. And it's got more hardware that I'll need to use when and if I want to do, as I am so sorry, folks. It is early in the morning, too. It's like almost 3 o'clock. If I want to have something to fall back on to do, as a backup on doing podcasts. Now, it says on this, it says available promotions, free. So this might be just a promotional thing. It was marked off like literally 50%. Free shipping, 45 day return policy, 1 day shipping, and they have available 1 day shipping or 2 day shipping. I think I just went for the regular one. I wanted the free everything. But it says reconditioned, so it goes through what a reconditioned product means. It says various retailers use different terminology. A reconditioned product may also be referred to as a factory reconditioned or refurbished, recertified, or repackaged. A reconditioned product can be anything from unopened item by the customer it says customer to the manufacturer where they replace missing parts and then repackage it. Where can I find reconditioned products in this place I can't pronounce? I guess they're trying to say reconditioned products are marked by a reconditioned logo and contain information. This is how they do it, this place, about the condition and existing warranties of this product. All reconditioned products must signify that they are not new on their packaging. And these are probably questions that would come up, so they try to answer them. Who would recondition the products? Manufacturer technicians or qualified, reputable outside technicians inspect, make any necessary technical, cosmetic changes, and test the product to ensure it is like new or almost new condition and up to manufacturer standards before it is resold. So if this is true, this is going to be really good. Why should I consider purchasing a reconditioned product? Reconditioned goods are substantially lower priced than their new counterparts and often are the same quality with a similar warranty. So this is what they ask or state from this link. So I'll find out, and I will do a show when I get this. It might be a while, but I'm just letting you know I'll probably do something on that. I was really going to focus on John Carpenter tonight, but I haven't so far. So this is good for me, but bad for everybody else who probably listens in. I'm not going to say, but I do have a new intro for my show, which really is cool for me. So I like that. So I have something I can kind of mix around with Walt Flanagan and Mike Zapsik. I now got John Carpenter, who did an intro for my show. I'm so psyched. So anyway, folks, I did buy a lot of stuff. It was really neat because he put frame shots of the movies he did, and a lot of these I didn't recognize, which is good because they looked really interesting. Because he composed music, John Carpenter composed music for all his different movies. He does it himself. So obviously the one he's best known for is Halloween, but he's Escape from New York. They Live is like kind of a sleeper movie, which is a little bit quirky, but it's very political, and I thought it was actually good. I don't think the political aspect was actually in my favor, but I still liked the movie. I still appreciated it. I thought it was definitely a good movie overall. Big Trouble in Little China. I've never honestly seen it. I lied to this guy. I said, yeah, I did see it. I never saw the movie, but it looked really interesting. Some other movies that John Carpenter did looked really cool, but the thing was I got as much paraphernalia. I did not buy his CDs. I'm sorry, because I have that Spotify account. I can get all that stuff for free. I can listen to this stuff without paying for it, so as long as I keep Spotify up, I will. But I buy all like these CDs and albums of different people, but you know what? I never listened to them then. So I just got, like, I gotta put a stop. He even had colored vinyl. John Carpenter had colored vinyl. of his music, and I was like, this looks so cool, but honestly, I'll never do anything with it, especially the color vinyl. I don't have a record player, so why would I need that? So I said, I'll buy the T-shirts. I'll wear the T-shirts. Even those, after a while, I end up giving them to Goodwill. But these are like John Carpenter. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime deal for me. I don't know when I'll see the man ever again, if I ever will. It was really cool to see him perform. It honestly was. It was really, really cool. I was going to put in John Carpenter and see what I can recognize some of these films he did. But they had like a little trinket thing, sunglasses, and it said "They Live" on the side because it was supposed to be a thing, kind of like a trinket from the movie kind of deal. So I had to get that. I got that. I got a couple T-shirts. I'm putting in right now, Carpenter. There we go. John Carpenter. I just want to see if I can see a list of his film work. He actually has a lot of energy, too. The man's up there in age, but he's got a lot of energy, and I give him credit for that. Studio albums, Lost Themes Remixed, and Lost Themes 2, and Lost Themes 3. I heard they're really actually good. What I heard of them sounded really, really cool. He's got that different feel. Okay, his movies started I thought it started, actually, that wasn't his first one, but this is his first film, was Dark Sky in 1974. I thought his first film was Assault on Precinct 13. I heard a lot about it. I've never seen it, though. But now I actually seen little clips, not clips, but scenes from the movie in the background while he was playing his music. It looked really interesting. I'm going to have to actually look for that. The next one's called Someone's Watching Me, made-for-TV movie. Obviously, then, was Halloween. Next one was Elvis. I didn't know about that. Never heard of that he did a movie on Elvis. Next one was The Fog, which was an excellent movie. Next one was Escape from New York. Then after that was The Thing, which was actually really good. I didn't like it at first, but it definitely grew on me. Christine, another excellent film from him. Starman, I didn't know he did that. Big Trouble in Little China, I did mention this one. Prince of Darkness. That one actually he had put up some scenes that looked very, very disturbing. I think he was not even showing still shots. He was actually showing film shots of his movies. He owns all these movies. He's allowed to, and he was playing the music in front of it. It was a really neat setup with the tapestry. How he did that too. It was worth going to see him. Honestly, it really was. Let's see, Prince of Darkness, They Live, which I actually did like. I mentioned that. Memoirs of the Invisible Man. Body Bags, I heard, was actually pretty good. I'm going to have to check that up now, Body Bags. Anthology. It was like short movies. I don't know if I can get that anymore to rent it or whatever. Oh, okay, here's the one that actually really got it's called In the Mouth of Madness, 1994. That one actually looked like, okay, that's the one I want to see if I can check it out and rent it. Because there's some really disturbing stuff in there. Village of the Damned, I did not know he did a version of that because it's obviously a remake. Escape from L.A., because the original Village of the Damned was actually a black and white movie, so obviously, Escape from L.A., Vampires. That movie did so bad, I think, Vampires. Another one he did was just plain bad, was Ghosts of Mars. I'm sorry, but it was horrible. And then there was a movie he did called The Ward. I think I've seen that. I think that's actually on, what do you call it? So those films are good, but again, I got to check out Mouth of Madness. It does look familiar. Just wish I was still doing the stuff I could get to these movies for actually free, but those days are done. We'll look on Amazon, see what they say. Oh, sorry, folks. I'm still falling asleep. I'm actually not. Well, it's only $10 to buy it, though. They actually have what's called a John Carpenter collection of films. Let's see what's in there. Oh, Prince of Darkness, They Live, Village of the Damned, and The Thing. Well, let's see. The Thing, yes, which I already own. I wouldn't mind having the copy on disc. They Live is actually not that bad. Prince of Darkness was not the one I was looking for, unfortunately. Yeah, but Mouth of Madness, I might have to actually put this in the list. It's actually on Blu-ray. It's only like $10, so it's not that bad at all. And They Live was actually a really good film. That's another John Carpenter must-see film. It was like $16, so, but still. I might actually put these in my bin. Prince of Darkness looks really familiar. Actually, I liked, people agreed with me. I did not appreciate it at first. Now I understand what it's about. Was John Carpenter actually did a very good job. The thing actually is only like $8. I did buy, a copy, though, a digital copy. I don't need it again, though. Because he did actually a good job. The thing is actually a good film. But yeah, They Live, that almost got a perfect rating. That is political. Somebody kind of told me, they said, oh, yeah, that was around the Reagan years. Like, okay, maybe I shouldn't like that film that much because I'm a big, love Reagan type person. So for me to, I'm going to add this to the basket right now, Mouth of Madness. Yeah, Christine's an excellent film. But there's certain films, though, I wish Body Bags was. Oh yeah, Body Bags actually is in there. The guy that I was talking to this guy tonight, he said it was actually really good, folks. So, that's actually more expensive to buy. So I'll have to check that out. It's more than I want to spend on a movie. But there's certain films. Yeah, I have my collection of films that I just really, really like. Actually, the original Fog's in this list, but it's obviously more expensive. The original Fog was really good. I heard he had some take, this guy told me, in the remake of the Fog, which I did not know that. But They Live is actually one of those films. I actually got a T-shirt for They Live. I got one for Halloween. Because there's certain John Carpenter films I just kind of really enjoy. So, I think I added Mouth of Madness. And They Live, actually, it's just like the fact that movie was so quirky. The makeup was really cheesy. But overall, I think personally, I thought that film was actually pretty good. I'm going to look on eBay, too. I didn't think about that. But, yeah, I just try to fill up on certain things on, John Carpenter, because the more I looked at it, and listen to his music and stuff, I have a deeper appreciation for his music, for one thing. The fact that he composes and does these horror movies. He loves horror movies. And, I mean, the man's just, he's a genius, and I didn't notice that as much, or didn't appreciate as much as I do now. And again, there's certain films that he has, or, he's done that I really just really like. They Live is it's expensive. It's like $20 everywhere except... it's not even worth it. You can get it as a Region Zero disc Blu-ray, but it's a foreign copy. I don't know if I like that much. But They Live was actually a really good film, by the way. Yeah, some of these frequently. Okay. They Live is definitely a film. Again, it's really quirky. It is extremely political. But, it's not worth it. It's actually from Australia, too. It's cheaper, but you're making up for it in shipping. But the certain movies, like I said, there were certain movies I just didn't realize they were done by John Carpenter. So, it was like, wow, I got to go back and actually check his stuff out. Again, I just spend money tonight, and now I'm spending more money. I don't stop spending money. That's not a good thing. So, I'm not sure when I want to buy these. They Live was expensive. It was like $16, but $10 for the Mouth of Madness. That's actually what I wanted. Collector's edition. I'll just buy it because call it a day for that. But what I was going to say, was it worth going to that concert tonight, because it was a concert. Yeah, I heard he was actually. John Carpenter was actually at the comic book convention, I guess, a few years ago, and I missed out. I probably knew about it. I just didn't bother to go see him. I didn't want to waste, because it was at WizardCon, and WizardCon anymore, it's just a way, how can we rip off people the most? So that's like a total turnoff to me. Yeah, so seeing him like that, you're not seeing him for 5 seconds, which I did. The fact that he actually did also did a plug for my show. That was just, that alone, I was ready to leave right after. I was like, but watching his performance was incredible. It was really, really good. I actually got into it. He got into it. He was making jokes with people. It was like giving that, the 2 fingers at the eyes and pointing at somebody. It's like, I got an eye, watch your back kind of deal. He was doing it as a joke as he was performing. It was really cool. It was really funny, too. He actually did an encore, too, for about 3 more songs. That was cool. So, and he played all the way through. There was no intro. It was just him. So the worst part I had, folks, tonight was I really had to use the bathroom. I didn't use it right away. So here what I do is, dummy me, I wait till the last second. I do this like when I go to movies, too, by the way. I wait to use the bathroom, and then usually it's the women's room that the line's going out the door for women having to use the bathroom. It was the complete opposite tonight. Up until 8 o'clock when the show started, there was a line of men, get that is correct, men all the way almost down the stairwell, because it was like on a second floor, out the door of guys having to use the bathroom. Up until 8 o'clock, it's like, and they were flicking the lights to let people know, hey, the show's going on. It was like, oh, we better hurry up now. They were still, like, going to the bathroom. It was like, this is fucking ridiculous. I thought it's women that are always getting accused of, like, long lines. No, it was all the guys. And they were drinking all this beer and stuff. That's probably what made him have to piss a lot. I was like, well, I gotta do a sit-down job, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So that really, like... Oh, my God, that was the most aggravating part. But the rest of it was pretty cool. A lot of hot-looking girls there, like these girls that look like Betty Page, but the attitude was not quite there. They had pretty bad attitudes. My luck is going to be bad with women my entire life. It's not getting any better. The only way like my one friend Matt would say, I'd get any luck with a woman is if I became famous. That's the only way a woman would even remotely look at me. It would be because I have money at that point, not any other reason. Different story. But, yeah, the show performance, going back to that, I'm not going to go into a thing, because I actually did find a couple stories tonight. Not a lot, like a handful. Literally a handful. Some that are actually interesting, too. Because I can't believe this. It was in 2 different sources about Matt Smith. And you're going to laugh at this. International Business Times was one for Matt Smith. And another one's from the Mirror. That's actually a UK paper on Matt Smith. And this is like a little weird. But bottom line, before I even go into Matt Smith now, that was one of the 5 articles I'm going to read. It was fun. It was definitely fun. Everybody had a blast going to this concert. So just to let you know, it was worth it. It really, really was worth it. Of John Carpenter. And I got a plug out of it, so hey, this is perfect. Get this, by the way. I want to read the one from the Mirror on Matt Smith. It says, can Matt Smith be the first Doctor Who to regenerate as himself? So right now they're in a turmoil that Doctor Who was off for this year. They didn't make any new episodes. It's not going to return until next year. So basically what it's saying is, let's see, Stephen Moffat, which I can't wait till he leaves, has hinted to Smith could be the first Doctor to return to the TARDIS, and the actor has made no secret of his desire to return. So apparently what's going to happen is next year, maybe before it even starts, this guy, Stephen Moffat, is actually leaving Doctor Who. They're going to have a new director. Now, they convinced everybody, at least, that maybe this is just a whole rumor thing, because the way I understood it, that Peter Catoli was going to stay on. He was going to leave, but then he promised to stay on at least for another season with the new director to help him out, because it's going to be all brand new. And that happened to Matt Smith, actually. When he came on, there was a whole changeover of everything, so because everybody left. So that could happen again. So I was under the understanding that Peter Catoli was going to stick around, because they actually got a new companion. But now they're saying, when was this written, though? Well, it said updated. It was actually originally posted July 8th, 2016. It was updated just on July 9th, which was yesterday. So there's something about this. I guess Catoli might be bailing out. I don't know. But anyway, it says Matt Smith may be about to travel back in time to play Doctor Who again. So they're going to do something to explain how he regenerates, I guess. I don't know. Show boss Stephen Moffat has hinted Smith could be the first of the 12 Doctors to return to the TARDIS after regenerating. Matt, who stars as Prince Philip in Netflix big-budget royal drama The Crown in November, has made no secret of his desire to return, saying last year, "They will ask me back one day, won't they?" So, now he's like, actually, it's going to probably, I don't know. I don't know how to even answer this article. It says Matt's successor, Peter Catoli, has been tipped to bow out after the next series, currently being filmed for release in 2017. So Catoli is doing it as of now, but he may bail out after that. So obviously they don't have anybody in the pipeline to replace Catoli if he leaves at this point. There's been a lot of speculations, none of them which I liked. So this is pretty interesting if they do this. Anyway, it says after and Moffat, who is leaving after the 6th season next year, has said that Matt is quite open about how much he misses it and how much he wishes he hadn't left, which I kind of question. He did 3 years and he left. So that would be pretty interesting. I don't think, because they've said similar things before. Let me just turn down my volume. I have my volume on my laptop up, too. That has happened in the past, by the way, where, they said, they ran into a little bit of a snag or some sort, where they couldn't get anybody, they couldn't figure out who they're going to get to replace a certain actor who played Doctor Who. And then what ended up happening, though, is at one point, because I know this happened in the past, where they end up asking, they were saying, "Oh, well, Tom Baker is going to come back to play Doctor Who again," because they were left. I think it was actually after, if I remember correctly, I think it was after they fired Colin Baker, where they were left in a huff, and they said, "Well, you know what? We're gonna get Tom Baker to come back as Doctor Who," and it actually never ever happened. So they say a lot of stuff. They get people worked up or psyched. Doctor Who fans. I am definitely one of them. And then most of the time, that stuff never turns out the way they say it is. They've said a lot. They say, basically, I don't know how else to say it, but they say a lot of shit. And a lot of times that stuff never comes out the way they explain it, that it will happen, This or happen to the Doctor, God, I mean, they've, the show's been on for 50 years. I don't know. And they kind of kept it pretty much the same over those years. I did want to mention something. I'm not sure if I should mention the next story first or something I just remembered. I did actually last night, or the night before, I should say at this point. I rented that movie. I ended up buying it now because it's on sale. I wish I would have known they would have done so. But it was this movie called The Witch. It was just out about a month or so ago. Well, I actually really, really wanted to see The Witch in the movie theaters. It was like, wow, this sounds pretty cool. It's a horror movie. You know, back, I think it was 1730 or something. I can't remember the timeline of this movie, what it was supposed to represent. You know, it was early English settlers. This family gets kicked out of a settlement, a village, or whatever you want to call it. And they're forced to, like, basically built their own house and everything, refuge in early America. So the whole premise seemed really cool, and it's called The Witch, and it's like, well, you really don't see much of a witch. They don't really give too much away, which was fine. You know, hey, I'm up on that. I think that's cool. So, like, I'm watching this film last night, and it was like, I really had honestly, I had a hard time getting through with it, through the film, but I rented. It's like, but I rented this film. I gotta kind of almost, I want to watch as I paid for the rental. It was like $5. Now I end up buying it, so I should have might as well just bought it in the first place. Because I think buying it would have been cheaper than renting it and then buying it, even though it was on sale. So, in fact, now I'm kind of curious. Been buying a lot of, I had like, eBay and Amazon bucks, so guess what I did with the money? Oh, screw it! I think I just messed up again. Because I got all this eBay bucks, I might go back and rebuy the stuff I bought on Amazon out of my pocket and have them pay for it. God, I didn't even think about that. Be much cheaper that way, I'll tell you that much. So I rented this movie, The Witch, had no clue, kind of, like, I had a hard time following it. Not that I didn't have I didn't have a clue either. But I had a hard time following it because it was the diction in the movie, is that the right word, diction? But the verbiage, whatever, was Old English because it was supposed to be like English settlers. So, it was really, really hard to follow. I'm going to put this in now, see if I can get some stuff for free. So, let's see, a pre-order DVD. Oh, so I thought it was out already. Limited edition steel book, brand new. Oh, one's a book. So I guess it is out, brand new. I mean, it got actually on Rotten Tomatoes. It did really well, but it was really hard to understand what the freak they were saying. I had no clue on what because the dialect was so bad. It's Old English again. I had a really, really difficult time following it. So, wow. Actually, I should have went to eBay for that because... wait, The Witch, it won't make a difference. Yeah, but I rented it. But I bought it, though, because on iTunes, the nice thing about that, at least, but I could have bought it for cheaper, though. Some copies are like $5. That's really saying a lot. But I figured, you know what? I want to watch the extras at least. I'm really curious now because there's certain things I just want to know how they put a movie because it must have been very difficult. I mean, you got like little kids and everything. Maybe they were British to begin with, but you got little kids that are speaking Old English. It says pre-order, so maybe it's not out yet. I thought it was. Not the movies I ordered. No, I just remembered, though, I have eBay money. I haven't used it yet, so I got to look for that. eBay Cash for all the spending I do. Maybe I'll just do that after I'm finished doing a show, because I got some John Carpenter movies, which I could have just bought for free, so it cost me nothing. That's more my style anyway. So, The Witch was interesting. The ending is very unique. The cinematography is incredible. Like, the movie's, the atmosphere in the movie is great. The Old English was interesting. It was just way, way, way too hard to follow, though. That's my problem. I just could not follow it. I did not understand it. And it was like one part, it was just really made no sense. I assume that these people, these village, this family, without realizing it, basically, well, because it's on the cover too. I'm not ruining anything. Was this black goat who was Satan himself? So, but he takes like a mortal form in one part of the movie, but it looks like an English settler, which I didn't understand. They kind of explain where they came up, how they made this movie out of myths and stuff, history myths and stuff, to make this movie called The Witch. So it was a well-planned out movie. It was just an incredibly difficult film to honestly comprehend. I had a hard time watching it. So because I couldn't understand what was being said. I'm sorry. So that was my whole thing. So, I don't know, but you're probably thinking, okay, why did you buy a film if you didn't understand it? You had a hard time following it. Well, honestly, it was because there must have been, like, I want to, this is one of these films, the fact that they put this much effort into the film, I kind of actually wanted to, believe it or not, I just wanted to see, like, the making of and stuff. So I figured for me that part of it, it's worth it. Just to find out, how they came up with making this film and everything, So that's what kind of like said, okay, hey, it's on sale too, at a cheaper price. I wouldn't mind looking at least. I'm not going to watch the film again. I seriously doubt it. But hey, if I ever say, what did I miss in this film? If I decide to go back and watch it, I'll own it now. I can watch it anytime I want to. But I won't have I have a digital copy. I can watch it anywhere that I have broadband. So, I mean, there's good and bad about it. So if it ever comes up, or if somebody wants to watch it, I'll say, hey, here's let them get into my account so they can watch it whenever they feel like it. So that's the only reason I figured I'd just get it. And again, being on sale was worth it. So I already read the one on Matt Smith. I'm not going to go back over that again, that he may come back as Doctor Who. I seriously doubt it. Again, the other one was from International Business Times. Why it's on there, I have no clue. Hey, here's a little bit of a different twist on my stories tonight. Young Conservatives actually put something up. This actually caught my attention. It actually was Brush who put it up from Young Conservatives. I actually put one up on, Young Conservatives put one up on Rush Limbaugh, which was pretty cool. It's titled, Ted Cruz Meets with Trump, Accepts Invite to Speak at RNC Convention. So I'm not going to read into this one because I'm already an hour and a half into a segment of a show, so I didn't expect to be this long. So I'm kind of questioning because, somebody mentioned, who was it? Was it Laura Ingraham or something? Said it was one of them. Not Laura Ingraham. It was one of them, though. It was who's a female conservative, said that would not be a good idea to pick somebody that. Well, actually, maybe that wouldn't be a bad idea, because I was going to say that if Trump picks somebody, he should pick somebody who is very knowledgeable, but somebody that the Republicans would not want to remove Trump out of office. And at first I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. If you get Ted Cruz as VP, he's more on the line of what the Republicans would want. It was like, wait a minute. No, they don't want him because he's like too conservative. Like he's over conservative even for the Republicans. So that actually would work if he does decide to pick Ted Cruz, which I would actually support for vice president, because you have a perfectly big mix. I mean, like, you're literally like a yin and yang on the Republican side, because, Ted Cruz is good on many aspects, but then Trump is good on other things. So those guys combine forces. I think that may not be a bad idea. So I'll be interested to see that. That was actually posted July 9th, by the way, so the story. And, again, you can find this on Young Conservatives. I'm actually going to see if I can put this on my Twitter account. So I didn't realize all that stuff. Yeah, that story I can't post it right now, and I can't get this other one. I'm looking at it like it was from Zergnet, and it says why Margaret Robbie did not like wearing Harley Quinn's outfit. It was like, well, this is one I'd have to tell her. We'd have to agree to disagree because from the pictures I've seen, I'm obsessed now with Margaret Robbie playing Harley Quinn. So that would be one of these things I'd have to say we'd have to agree to disagree. Actually, it said it was from Cinema Blend. Why Margaret Robbie doesn't like Harley Quinn's outfit in Suicide Squad. It says, as a comic book primarily a visual medium, a character's look is always the most important thing about them. Each hero and villain had a unique and they're unique and are able to catch the eye if the creator wanted them to catch on. I'm just kind of curious now. Alrighty, let's cutting down the shades. This is while Margaret Robbie understands the need to represent Harley Quinn properly, it doesn't mean she loves the clothes. They make her more than a little self-conscious because she basically, her ass cheeks are hanging out, and she's wearing like she pulls off in the scene they show in the interview, the previews of the film, which is coming out I think next month. Of Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is showing off her breasts, too. Not, like, physically, but she's showing off her bra. So, yeah, it's, like, next to nothing that Margaret Robbie's wearing. And they do want to do I read at one point, they do want to do, which I'm actually really anxious. I think a lot of people aren't admitting to it, but they are, like, more anxious, I think, to see Suicide Squad because of Harley Quinn. So it's the first time she's actually, I heard Harley Quinn was actually a character made from the cartoon, not even from the comic books, but from the cartoons. So it was, initially not, something that derived from the creators of these comic books, but the other way around, something from a different genre, or what do you call it? Perspective altogether. But either way, I actually am interested in seeing the Joker as well. I think Jared Leto looks like it. I was not impressed with it at first, but just those two characters alone were just enough to make me like really want to see this film. So anyway, I went off another stray, and I want to finish my show soon. Anyway, one thing that was interesting, I saw this, it was on Terror Time. Tim Curry, who played, the transgender in Rocky Horror Picture, it says Tim Curry announced for the first time ever convention appearance at the Hollywood show in Los Angeles. So he's actually going to be at a convention. I don't know what kind of convention, but yeah, Tim Curry, again, who played the transgender in Rocky Horror, is actually going to make a public appearance at a convention. It doesn't say what type. I would assume maybe a horror convention. It says on Tuesday, May 17th, the Hollywood show Celebrity Autograph Show announced on their Facebook page they would be announcing a major guest for their July, which is now, show, given only the hints that the guest had a major horror following. So that is interesting. So yeah, Tim Curry is actually getting into the convention scene for the very first time. So that's pretty cool. Interesting. Just thought I'd pass that on. Yeah, the other story, I said there was another one from Young Conservatives, and it was on Rush Limbaugh. I did listen to all 3 hours yesterday of Friday's show that he had done, Rush Limbaugh, Open Line Friday. So anyway, it says, after Dallas shooting, Rush Limbaugh makes a brutal announcement. He did talk about it for almost, he had like somebody on, but he did talk about it for the whole 3 hours, I think, pretty much, even with callers calling in. on his niche on this whole thing, this whole shenanigans where these cops got killed in Dallas, Texas. He actually had a cop call in from Dallas, Texas, too, on Friday that would appreciate Rush covering it the way he did in such, minute, with such, I can't think of the word, like in such detail. So, it was all 3 hours he talked about this. So, you can check that out. I'm not going to read through it because, again, the show is going a little longer than I wanted to go. And I did want to kind of get some stuff done tomorrow. So, look at Young Conservatives and then look for a story that they do go into briefly, but I don't even want to read this little brief segment on Rush Limbaugh. And it was on Friday's show, by the way, too. If you listen to the recaps, you will want to listen to all three of them on Open Line Friday from this past Friday. Again, it's titled from Young Conservatives, After Dallas Shooting, Rush Limbaugh Makes a Brutal Announcement. So I did listen to it. It was very intriguing. He made a lot of valid points. My brother Vincent says that some of the stuff Rush talks about is not accurate. Like his source of information. Oh, excuse me. Or whatever is not very accurate. But I kind of beg to differ. Yeah, I've called him actually a couple times that, he's been, probably been a little bit off on stuff. But that's, honestly, I think that's kind of seldom, if anything. By the way, I'm looking at some pictures if you're interested. They did something. The Colonial Theater Blobfest is this weekend. It will be today as well. So there's some things where people actually dressed up. I just figured out what this is. People dressed up in costumes and stuff. Now this is like the most original one I've seen. I'm looking at it now. Some pictures that were posted. I actually really like it too. But it's two people, a chick and a guy, dressed up like the puppets in those Puppet Master movies. And they actually did a really, really good job. So, they did a really good job. So one girl actually, I don't know what her costumes, I guess it's supposed to be Little Shop of Horrors, but the chick in the face kind of looks like Demi Lovato. I don't know why. So I'm just kind of, I actually did have, that's a really good costume. Some really, really interesting ones. I couldn't go today, so, these kids, little girls dressed up like Cabbage Patch Kids. Some girl actually tried to do a thing of Carrie. So many pictures, so little time. Yeah, you can check those out. They just posted those tonight, I guess. It says our 2016 Blobfest costume contest. So, again, I kind of wish I would have won there. Now, the neat thing about the Blobfest thing is you can see the video. They actually videotaped it from, like, I guess, a rooftop. It says video footage of the run-out scene, last night for the Blobfest. It's this entire weekend, by the way, on the Colonial Theater website. And I was watching the video, and it's like, you know what? That actually looks pretty freaking cool. It honestly really does look pretty cool. And again, I kind of missed that I didn't go, but I almost didn't have much of a choice because I'm looking at some of the costumes people wore. I don't know if this is like different locations, but I assume these are all down in in Phoenixville, but some of these costumes looked really, really cool. So, like people put some effort into what they did. No, it does say Blobfest 17. Wow, they've been doing it for that long. Didn't know that. They even looked like they had Robbie the Robot there from Lost in Space. So, yeah, I kind of almost regret not going. It would have been a madhouse there, though. That's the only problem. I don't regret honestly, I don't regret seeing John Carpenter, because that's also a once in a lifetime thing. So, but anyway, yeah, check it out if you're, hear my show on Sunday. But unfortunately, by the time you would listen to it, it'd probably be almost over. But yeah, the Blobfest is in Phoenixville. It's not far from where I live. Not going to help anybody else, but this is today. It'll be open from 1 p.m. till 8 p.m., so that's not too bad, because the whole thing is, Blobfest. You want to do it at nighttime. You have contests during the day, in the afternoon, but then the actual thing. I did go to Blobfest last year for one or so movies, and it was actually pretty fun. I'll have to see what's playing, because if there's any good movies, I might check it out. By the way, this is what I want to leave off with. This is really cool. I was looking at one of the friends on my Facebook's webpage, and one of her friends, his name's Mike V. Schultz, has a really cool page, because guess what he does? He makes models, large models, of the different versions of the Jaws shark, I guess. So that's what I assume what it is. And yeah, I try to get him at me. He's overloaded with. Yeah, it says buy me at sharkcityozark.com. So I think it's his thing, but he has this whole thing. Buy me at sharkcityozark.com. So I wish I would just have a link, but yeah, you can buy. I don't know where you're going to put them, but he makes all different scale models, like really big ones or different things of sharks, from the Jaws movie, the different versions. So I'll look for that now. I kind of wish he just would have put a link on there. So, sharkcityozark.com. sharkcityozark.com. I'm just saying that so I remind myself how to do this. Shark City Ozark. Kind of a weird way. Maybe that's the way, Oh, I got it off a little bit. I'm kind of doing it to see, out of curiosity now. I don't know what I do with a full-size shark. Anyway, I'm still typing. Well, welcome to, okay, I did find it now. Yeah, this guy, shop now. So I liked his page. This guy is so obsessed, I guess, with the Jaws movies, so he actually physically makes models of sharks. So it says shop now. So if you're a big Jaws fan, which I am, yeah, he has different scales and different styles of sharks. The sharks you always wanted. The museum quality Bruce the Shark replicas are made in America by practical special effects artist Mike V. Schultz and family. They are highly collectible, limited edition marques, whatever you say, and are handmade to last a lifetime with sturdy, high-quality resin. And now they have new levels of historically accurate detail, new poses, new features, and new friendliner prices. So this is no joke. You can actually buy from this place. I should put it on Twitter, too. That's news to me, so I didn't know about this until I saw this one girl who's a friend of mine, followed on Twitter as well. He has a Twitter page, but he makes sharks, model sharks if you're a big fan. So I'm just wondering what the prices are. See all current products. Okay, he's got 1/8 scales, or 1-8 scales. Then he has 1-6 scales, and then there's accessories. So that is the coolest thing. I know it's just wasting money. I won't buy it. Trust me, I won't. Okay, it says the button is back. So you can get the shark with, from the original Jaws, like a replica model. Just to let you know, it's $700, by the way. So it's got to be pretty big. Or upgrade it to 3-foot platform. Bruce the shark is almost ready for release due to recent overwhelming interest in our previous model. We're opening the sales button now. So you can pre-order now from this site. And you can make a deposit of $75 or $100. But at the very end, if you want to own, a Jaws shark, if you have somewhere to hang it, like if you have a, someplace like a store or restaurant, or you wanted some type of theme, or even at home, you can order one of these now for, if you want to pay it in full, it's going to cost you $700. It's a good size, too. But he makes different ones. He has different scale models, but looks like they're pretty much all $700. Now, I guess this is the same guy. I don't know. This is the same guy who worked on the one in Jaws, because there's a guy. Oh, okay. They took a scene from the Jaws in the movie. The guy who actually made the shark, and I guess they gave one to him. Now, that's weird because this $700 shark looks a lot bigger, but the guy, they gave one to the guy who was worked on Jaws, who worked on the mechanical shark. And they gave him one of these modeled sharks, and it looks really big, but he's holding it in both hands. It's like 3 feet long, so it's not that big. So it's a very expensive model to own. So, it says, okay, I should have seen this before. It says all new 25-inch Ultimate Bruce Collector's item. So it is really cool. It's a cool model to own if you have it. I thought it was a lot bigger, so that's my misunderstanding there. But, these are handmade too, but it's still pretty expensive in my opinion. But, hey, if you're a big, Jaws fan, I definitely am, but I don't think I would go that far. Yeah, you can basically buy a shark, a Jaws shark for $700. It's not going to be very big. So let's see. It's almost like you can buy a life scale like the one they used in the movie. Why would you want to buy like a 30-foot shark? What could be better than the original NTT Ward Welton-style crate display stand? Oh, I got it. What they're doing is, like for that 25-inch shark, which is not that big, you can actually buy for $100. Like when they had the Jaws, like if you're a big diehard shark Jaws fan, and you want to put it on display, there's like for your modeled shark, handmade model shark, you can actually buy a prop setup of what they used in the actual film. Like if you want to like really show off and like, okay, you bought a $700 modeled shark. Literally, it's like a model for, what did I say? It was 24 inches, whatever. I'm trying to look for it again. Well, when they had the original shark, it was actually, had to be transported somehow. Well, they made a model of that too. So what was the scale of this shark? Which I didn't realize. So these are for people that are like really diehard fans of Jaws. Some people seem really happy with buying this. I'm a big, don't get me wrong, I'm a big Jaws fan. And people have a blast. Like, they buy it because they have all the Jaws. Like, there's some people have taken pictures who have bought this shark, this modeled shark. And, they have it on display and everything like that. They even just sell, like, the head part of the shark. He makes models of those, too. I don't know what the price of that is. I wonder if it's just as expensive. Because Yeah, the ones of the full body is like $700. So I'm trying to look for other prices. Well, okay, he's got a smaller one. It's $400, $360. It's still kind of steep though, but it's a different type of shark too. I think I got to the heads finally. No. But it says it's 1 to 6 scale. Well, yeah, even just a head alone, if you just want to buy the shark head and just put it on the tabletop or something, that's $350 there, too. All new HD 1/6 scale Bruce the Shark bust nightmare. Yeah, it's a bust of the shark head. Not very big, but it's $400, though. So they have what's called Bruce the Shark. I guess that's what they nicknamed the shark in Jaws. So that's why I think that's what it means though. But this guy makes replica Bruce the Shark, where it has the hinge on the mouth that you see in the movie. That one's called Bruce the Shark. I think that's like $700. Or they have another type of shark, 25-inch. I think they're both 25 inches. Let's see what that's called. The all-new 1 to 12 scale, 25-inch long Ultimate Bruce Revenge Marquette. Pre-order now. It says the first 50 pre-orders get a free suitable for framing 8 by 11 Revenge Bruce the Shark artwork. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're actually pretty cool looking. They're actually pretty scary looking at as well. Don't get me wrong on that. But I'm looking at these pictures. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to make sure that I did this properly at post in case anybody's interested. Because I didn't know this was like a real thing. But this guy makes sharks. Welcome to Mike V. Schultz, Shark City, Orzac, or whatever. And, I mean, if you're a big, you have, willing to spend more money than I actually spend, which that's a lot of fucking money, check it out, because it is actually cool. I didn't think it was going to be this long, just me talking about this, but it actually definitely caught my interest. Yeah, I think this is one thing, by the way. There is a lot that, I will waste money on. I think this is probably one that I may not. So I'm sorry. I'm wrapping up. I just noticed something. This one friend of mine, she put up pictures of her cat, and I'm always for the cat, so sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, just check that out. I had to go to my home page just to make sure to open. You can see it. If not, you might just see, just to give you a heads up, it might just be probably a link. You will actually see it called Zirca Zero, but I think that, let me just double check. So people pulling that. Oh, no. Circa Zero. No, I didn't get it right. Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't steer people wrong, on... Actually, it didn't get posted. That's weird. No, it's going to get posted as a link. So anybody, hey, if you go to my page, my webpage, well, one, you'll see some really bad pictures I had taken. I don't know what happened tonight. I did not get one good freaking picture. I took 146 pictures at John Carpenter thing tonight, and none of them actually turned out the way I wanted it to. So I'm not happy about that. But, yeah, it's basically, I can give you the link just in case. It's www.sharkcityozark.com. But you will find it. It just did not open up the way I wanted it to. I thought it would be a little bit more smooth. I don't know what I did wrong. I might just try one more time. Sometimes it's temperamental. Oh, there we go. That always works. So now I got it on there. Welcome to Mike B. Schultz. Shark, like Charles M. Schultz, if you're a penis fan like I was. I actually got it to open up the second time. Usually the second time might be the charm. And it says Shark City, Orzok, your one-stop creature special effects shop. We create the ultimate in shark art reproductions and bring imagination to life for the serious collector. Well, I'm already too much of a serious collector. I got too much junk. But, hey, that is, so awesome, folks. And I actually did do a 2-hour show. I didn't intend to do a 2-hour show, but I did. So thanks again. This is Walter from iWalter. And at this point, I might as well I really need to sign off for now. Thanks again for listening to me, if you do. Have a good morning, folks.